You've always talked about wanting that shutdown line a little bit further down in the lineup. If you keep the group the same, how good can that Carlson Smith Stone group be, not just defensively, but also turning that defense into offense with the way that they like to play puck netting?
Well, I mean, you got three very experienced guys in the league, three that know how to play away from the puck, three that have good offensive skills. So I would think that if they were to be together, you could play them against anybody, right? It'd be a threat to score, and it'd be, you'd have to work hard to get something against them. So, I mean, the way it's shaping up, I mean, Jack and Marner, if they stay together, both good defensive players. Are Howden, Sissen's done it in the league forever. Howie's done it for us, and Colasar. So, I mean, you want dual threats. I think that Sisson line's become more of a forecheck force than maybe a shutdown, but they still know what their job is. They got to play against top players, whoever we're using that role. So, but your third line, if you can do that as well, I mean, then you're really balanced, right? And that's teams I've coached that have been the most balanced are probably the ones that have had the best success. Simply because then you're not managing lines constantly every night, and the players see that after a while. It's like, it doesn't have the trust, and sometimes it's legit, sometimes it's not, but at the end of the day, if you can build that kind of confidence in your team, they can play against anybody. I think that's, when you're truly at your best, because you're going to have tough nights when you face adversity, and you got to be able to go out there with thinking you can do it. So, but I got away from your question a bit, but unbelievable that how it could shake out for us, that, if they do in fact stay together, and how good they could be at both ends of the ice.
The term chemistry gets brought up a lot. Obviously, Marner and Jack, that's going to be talked about a lot. Is it something that you can see instantly that the untrained eye, can't see?
It's a good question, because I think it's early. You'll see it for shifts, and you'll see it in instances, maybe in a 2-on-2 drill, and then maybe not in a 3-on-2. So some of that is sorting out where they like to be, how to read off one another. I mean, a great example today, they lost possession of a puck, and it was like a 3-on-2 drill, and Marner wins the race to the corner. He throws it directly in front of the net, and I think the wingers were thinking he's going to bump it behind, then go to the front of the net. So he's almost like one step. I'm going to skip a step, and then the play was there. So maybe then, I'll keep an eye on that the next time. Will they read that one? And that's a little bit of the developmental curve with every line that gets together of people. So, but sometimes you do see it. But I don't think in a training camp kind of practice that's something you'd hang your hat on. You need to see it against higher end talent that defends in this league, and then maybe say, wow, that they've done it more than once, and off you go. So it's a little bit of both.
If I can ask you about the identity line, the Sissons line, if you will. Keegan was saying that he doesn't expect any kind of ramp up in terms of mindset. The three of them know exactly what's expected out of them. What kind of comfort, confidence does that instill in you as you get ready to throw them out there, even though they might not know where they're going to be on the ice every single time early?
Well, I've said it. When you have a glue line like that, guys that know their role, accept their role, excel in their role, I just think that bodes well for your group. And as a coach, there's a little bit of that. Just the fact that and trust what you're getting. So the starts of games, the D-zone face-offs on the road, whatever the other team's looking to line match. You're fine with it. So you're not worried about matches, because if you have three other lines that are pretty balanced in threats, then they start thinking, if I try to match my certain line up against that line, and now I lose a matchup down the road, you know what I mean, a few shifts later. So that's the comfort as a coach. That's the or the chess match within the game sometimes. And anyway, I just always felt to have a line like that, it's really good for your team. But they got to be a threat to go the other way, right? Like otherwise teams will cheat against your checking line or that type of line, knowing they can't finish. And if you look at it as it's made up today, Keegan had a career year last year offensively, so did Howie. Keegan played up in the lineup a little more. Did it have something to do with it? I don't know, but at the end of the day, those guys can hurt you offensively as well. So that's the beauty of it, the second part of it.
I know you haven't really started working on special teams yet, but I'm curious, when you get Marner in July, do you go back and watch a bunch of his power play film from Toronto and see what he does well when you're trying to figure out how you want to use him?
Well, in our situation, we got 5 returning guys, or 6 if you want to count the Hanathan Theodore kind of double-headed top guy of a pretty good power play. So absolutely, it's like, okay, where is Mitch going to fit in, and who gets bumped if he does go into that top unit, right? So you go through that checklist of things, and I'll tell you, we've looked at going through each spot. Okay, if he goes here, this guy comes out. Nah, it won't work. This will, maybe that strengthens the next unit. So to answer your question, I have watched. He played a lot of the top this year for Toronto with their 5-man unit power play, and they had a great regular season. I don't know if their numbers in the playoffs matched their regular season. I can't say for sure. I thought against Florida it struggled. Against Ottawa it was good, if I'm not mistaken. But at the end of the day, he's played up top there, and he's moved around. When I was with Boston years ago, he was on one of the elbows, and they used the more traditional 4 forwards, 1D. So I've seen him down by the goal line over the years. So that is what I saw most recently, was this year's work. So yes, I did watch a lot of his stuff, because we got to solve that. We want our power play to continue to grow. Want to put him in the best position, and we don't want to take away from someone else either if it's not the best position. So that's one we're gonna have to talk to some players on that, because that's if someone comes out, it's a tough conversation, but we'll do it whatever the hell is best for the team. I'll tell you that in the end, and whatever makes our power play the strongest, and hopefully guys understand that.
Jeremy Lazan, he didn't come out for the second session with I guess it was the third group yesterday, the second one today. Injury report there?
Yeah, he tweaked something, so we're being cautious. So we'll see how he is in the morning. Jack went through it the other day, came back, so we hope he's back with our group tomorrow. But I'll be able to answer that then.
You talked about looking at guys that could probably be in the spot for a call-up as camp goes on. How much do you want to see of Carl Lindbaum in the preseason?
Well, right now it's an interesting dynamic with 3 young guys: Vikman, Whitehead, Lindbaum. They're all relatively new to professional hockey. As I said the other day, Lindbaum played in the Swedish Elite League, so it's probably got a leg up on playing against that level of players. But that part's a little bit wide open. I would think the way he finished last year, he would be a little bit ahead going into camp, but camp will determine that. I'll talk to Berkey as we go to see how the exhibition schedule allows us to manage our goaltenders, how many starts they'll need. But it is important for Carl. I think if he wants to take he took a step in Henderson the second half of the year, and my guess is he wants to take another one and push whoever's behind Aiden Hill. That 100% would be my mindset if I was him, and I'm sure he's thinking that right now. So I think it's important to a lot of guys, but to your question, yeah, I think he's, he wants to keep progressing up the depth chart.
To Stephen, and last call, if there's anything else for Bruce today.
I want to lighten it up a little bit. You were at the Aviators game last night. You threw out the first pitch. Maybe you
Oh,
could have...
jeez. I thought we were playing cricket. That was a great pitch. I keep forgetting when you're on the mound, your release point has to be higher. I forget that part. So anyway, the catcher didn't have to move. That's the way I looked at it. I saved him burning some calories chasing a ball around.
How many times have you gotten to do something like that?
That's a few. I did it at Fenway, I remember, when I got hired by the Bruins, and did it in the Aviators when I got hired here. I'll tell you interesting. I did it once in a AAA game in Indianapolis. So I go out there, and I forget if their farm team was the Expos way back then or the Reds. I know they had changed it a bit. The guy gives me a hockey stick and the ball, and he says, "Shoot the puck over the plate." And I'm like, thank God it was a left, first of all, because the way I shoot. But the blade was about those street hockey. I don't know if you guys are road hockey. Anyway, your street hockey stick gets down to about an inch thick before it's probably no good. So it was about that big, and I said, well, this is going to be a disaster. So I said, I might as well rip it because there's not much blade. And it ripped it right into it was better than any throw I ever had anyway. So That worked out very well. So I've done it a few different times, and I probably should call it a career with it, or move up, one or the other. Maybe, but yeah, that wasn't. It's funny because my son Cole just started trash talking me right away. I don't know how he got. I think Shannon sent him the video, and is like, anyway, because he can pitch a little bit, right? So he's rubbing it into the old man, but. Anyway, it was nice of them to have me over there. It was a nice evening to watch a baseball game. I'll admit I didn't stay for the whole thing because the training camp is long, but it's always, I always enjoy going out. They got a great park over there and good product. No, it isn't. And they're going to the playoffs next week, so I wish them well. Hopefully they get on a good run.
You were exhausted. There's no need.
My feet were sore. That was it. It was that simple. I couldn't push off the rubber. Thank you.
First, how you feeling after leaving yesterday? Obviously, back on.
Yeah, nothing serious. So, it's the first day of camp, and yeah, I'm fine.
Now that officially with Mitch the last couple of days, what has that been like trying to develop the chemistry between you guys?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously we're out there. We've been on the ice for less than 2 days together, so yeah. I mean, I think just the more reps you get together and understanding each other's tendencies, more touches you get, and all that starts to come. Obviously, hopefully get a couple reps in preseason together, games. Just work on that. I mean, he's a super smart player. It's really easy to read off. I think, he can. He can probably do the same, and Barbie's the same. So, yeah, it's worked out well, and I just want to continue, make the most of every rep we get in practice, figuring each other's tendencies out, and just trying to, get better every day we're on the ice together, and that's the goal.
Is that the biggest box you want to check this preseason training camp schedule, or is there more for you?
Well, listen, I mean, you're always just trying to get your game in order, right, for the regular season, and get your body and your mind and everything to tip-top shape. So when game one rolls around, you're ready to rock. So, there's so many great things about training camp in the preseason. I think we're all collectively as a group trying to work to get our game in line and how we want to play as a team. I think we've developed that identity over the last few years in the systems. Obviously, you bring a few new faces in, you want them to be able to, pick that up as quick as possible, and they will, because they're all high hockey IQ guys, and our coaches do a good job of teaching it. And then personally, I think you want to get yourself in good shape, feeling confident about your game, working on things, and that's it. Preseason and training camp, it's super important.
Expiring deal, obviously, still got a lot of time, but are you hoping to get something settled sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I've spoken about it before. Obviously, love it here in Vegas and this organization and the people involved in it. From ownership to down through all our training staff and everyone you work with on a day-to-day basis. The community's been great to me. I love living here. That stuff's, I guess, out of my control a bit, and you just work on getting yourself in shape and ready to play and do your job as best you can, and I think things like that kind of just take care of themselves. So, in that sense, my focus is more so on prepared for the season, and I'm just trying to be a good teammate and best player I can be.
Does it help that you can kind of focus on hockey now that you're on the ice and you can kind of ease yourself with that one back there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my focus changes, whether I was in the summer training, whether it was, today on the ice in practice. It's, I think my focus kind of stays the same every day, and, what I'm trying to accomplish here at the rink. And like I said, I think that, those things kind of just take care of themselves, and I think that will as well.
Anything you've learned about Mitch's game just in the captain skates, and maybe something you didn't realize until you were on the ice with him on a daily basis?
No, I mean, I played in the same division against him for 6 years, and played against him quite a bit. I mean, I think we all know how good he is, right? So I don't know how much. I've always had an unbelievable appreciation for his game as somebody who lined up against him, and you know, you watch him as a fan of hockey. Obviously, some of the stuff he does on the ice is, you know, world class, and it's not. I don't think anything's really surprised me, but I think that's more so just a compliment to him because I've always held him in such a high regard as a player.
When you're working with him in open space like you are in the drills today, does it kind of maybe get your gears turning as to what you guys can do together when you've got that kind of time and space out there?
Yeah, I mean, he's such a dynamic player with the puck on his stick and somebody that can create a lot from nothing and, you know, uses his edge as well and makes a ton of plays and small little plays, thinks the game at an extremely high level. So for me, I think you're just reading off of him and, yeah, it's, you know, you get a guy like that with time and space on the ice, he's going to make a lot of plays. So, you know, for me, him and Barbie, just, you know, continue to work at every rep in practice and try and continue to develop chemistry.
How much would you sit down and talk about things and how it works, or do you just let it develop naturally on the ice?
I think there's a combination of both. Obviously, there's you want to have some communication, and I think more so that will come during, you know, when you get preseason game reps and you're out there and you know, in practice it's a little more controlled, right? So, but at the same time, yeah, it's obviously important to have communication, and I think that's what allows guys to be able to read off each other, and you know, so you know, the more reps we get, the better. But I'm pretty confident we'll pick each other up pretty quickly, and you know, I've had the chance to play with Barbie for years, so he's I think he's a great compliment. You know, he does a lot of little things really well, and yeah, just keep working at it, and every day try and get better.